to episode 294 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films and everything in between. How to make them, how to get them made, and how to try not to F it up, in our very, very humble opinion. I am Giles Alderson, and this has pretty much become the Giles Alderson platform for his films coming out. Apologies for that. Again, it is not my fault. The two movies I worked on in 2020 and 2021 have both come out within a week of each other, but it would be rude of me not to do specials on them, right? Right? You want to know how we made our films as well as other people's, right? Well, of course you do. Therefore, we will facilitate that. Of course we will. It's the Filmmakers Podcast, and this is what we do. We hopefully help you make your films. So last week, thank you so much for those who listened, and those, more importantly, who watched The Stranger in Our Bed and gave us some lovely, lovely feedback. Thank you. It means the world to me. And last week's episode with Terry Dwyer and Dean Fisher, the producers of that movie, chat with me about how we made it. And if you haven't listened to that, do go and listen to it, because it's really interesting about the state of the industry and what's happened. So yeah, thank you for the support this week. It's really cool. So this week, Wolves of War. It's out. It's released now on Sky Movies and Amazon, and this is a World War II movie. It's produced by Lucinda Rhodes Thakrar and Jeet Thakrar. It's shot by Stuart Nicholas White, edited by Neil Lenthal, written by Ben Mole and Toby Kearton and Samuel Ellis. It's production designed by Jamie Foote, with makeup designed by Brodie Mayhew and costume by Robin Manton. And it stars Rupert Graves, Ed Westwick, Anastasia Martin, Max the Mac, Eva Magyar, Sam Gittings, Jack Parr, Matt Willis, Jackson Bews, Jennifer Martin, Chris Rogers, and a whole host of amazing other people like Griffin Stevens, Leroy Kincaid, Ryan Gasunci, and Sophia Iredale. And I thought, well, with a special, why don't I try and get on some of the cast for you? Ed Westwick was busy filming, so he couldn't join us, and Sam Gittings was also filming, so he couldn't join us, but you do get the brilliant Matt Willis, the amazing Anastasia Martin, the brilliantly funny and talented Rupert Graves, and Jackson Bews, the brilliant actor that he is. So you get that. Those fantastic guys and girls, and they chat to you about their experience of making the film and what it's like being an actor, and gives you tips and tricks about working on set with directors. I also have a lovely chat with Stuart White, the DP of Wolves of War, about how we went about lighting it, how we did it with natural light, and how we used ambience and atmosphere to create the tone of the movie. I also chat to composer Christopher Cook about his wonderful score, and to editor Neil Lenthal about how we put the movie together in post, and it's all nicely packaged for you to watch right now, should you wish. But anyway, I hope you get a lot out of this. I was really hoping to get Lucinda Rhodes Thakrar, but she is fighting fires on set of a movie right now and couldn't join me for any of the interviews, because I only have one day free, because I am at the moment making a series, and I am busy as well, so everyone's really busy. So sadly, we couldn't get everyone together at the same time. The film is being distributed by Signature in the UK, Signature Entertainment, and Blue Fox in America. So before we get to our guests, I want to shout out Q Scripts. They are our sponsor. They're the script analysis company. They're fantastic. They work with emerging talent. So if you're aiming to break through in the industry right now, get in touch with Q Scripts, because they also work with established writers as well, trying to take their scripts to the next level. They do script editing, one-to-one Zoom feedback sessions, and you can get 3 months membership for free. And there'll probably be a little mini advert in the middle of this episode as well, but qscripts.com, link to that is in the show notes. Shout out to this week to loads of people, really, because I haven't done too many of them, but again, all those people who've watched A Stranger in Our Bed and given us so much love, oh, thank you, it means a lot. Other shouts go to Max Cavanham, Tyson G, Jed Bryan, Craig Cool, Chris Hughes, Adam Murphy, Paul Doherty, Ben Treblecook, Faith Elizabeth, and Nick Stagliano. His film The Virtuoso is on Netflix now. He was on the podcast episode very recently, so do check that out, talking about directing. Anthony Hopkins. Want to know what that's like? Check out that episode with Nick Stagliano, and then do watch The Virtuoso, which stars Anthony Hopkins. It is now available on Netflix and doing very, very well. So let's get to the episode. First of all, we have Stuart Nicholas White. Stu White, to me, I've known him for a long time. We go way back. He was a photographer when I first met him, doing some stills for a web series that I was in. and we met that way. And then we started playing football together, became pals. And when I moved into directing, he had become a brilliant cinematographer. And lucky enough, he worked with me on a couple of projects that we made together, including a short of Boudica. We did a couple of TV pilots together as well. But he is the cinematographer of movies like Between Two Worlds, which I was also in as an actor back in the day, and Beautiful Devils, which he talks about in the episode, Rise of the Foot Soldier 3, The Conversation, and Leia, which he also co-produced, which is out now. It's just recently come out on Amazon, directed by Adam Ethan Crow. And also he helped me do pickup shots on The Stranger in Our Bed as well. He's a brilliant guy, really lovely, very talented DOP cinematographer, Stuart Nicholas White. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our chat. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm all right. How are you? I think it's been I can't remember the last time I did see you, actually.
Oh my gosh, was it literally the last day on set?
I think it might have been. I don't, because we haven't worked together since, but I don't think I've actually seen you since either.
No, I know.
Not having been involved in any of the post-production.
Yes. She's kind of a bit crazy, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your memories of doing Wolves of War? Because I really like working with you on it. And I was just looking back through some of the mood sort of boards that I'd put together, when I was pitching to direct the movie, and the sort of tones we wanted to get. And then we discussed it for a while. But what's your sort of earliest memory, really, of me talking to you about going, do you want to do this film with me?
So what I remember was, at that time, I was actually about to do a little TV pilot for a production company who looked after all the Mackenzie Crook stuff, having worked on Detectorists.
Yeah.
And it was literally like a 2 or 3 day shoot up in Wales, where you are, in North Wales, just to do this little TV pilot thing. And I was really excited because I'd worked with these guys for a long time, and it was a 2 or 3 day shoot. And I was like, oh my God, it's, these big guys, Leopard Productions, Leopard TV and all everything. And then you called and said, I've got a feature, and it was exactly the same time. And I was like, oh man, it's what was bizarre about it was, I feel as a cinematographer, you learn more when you're kind of under the cosh, when you have little, but expectations are high. And that's low budget feature films. So low budget feature films, like high schedule, low budget, is by far and away probably the most educational battleground for a DP on planet Earth. Because if you have money, then you just say to the production, I need a grip and a dolly and a bit of this and a bit of that and a crane and a van full outside of lights and things. And then they go, all right, cool. And then they do it. And then you get there and there's 4 people sat on a truck all day doing nothing. Whereas when you go into low budget, high schedule feature filmmaking, there's no fat. There's nothing left unturned. There's no bit of kit you don't use. There's more often than not, never enough hours in the day to get what you want. It's a constant reshuffling of the Rubik's Cube to try and make things work every day. I mean, like, some days are gravy, and that's what's nice, isn't it? Like, I think some days are gravy, and the old adage of fail to prepare to fail. Yes. Like, I absolutely live by. All this kind of stuff isn't here by accident.
All the kit behind you, yeah. Basically, Stu's in. Maybe it's your office or your production space.
In the garage, mate.
In the garage. Stu's got, if you don't know, he has his own van, his own kit, his own company. So it's pretty impressive what you do. All that kit to constantly be up on top of is also, difficult.
Yeah, this is where the magic happens, mate. In the garage, right? Yeah. It's like money disappears. It's magic.
Yeah, exactly. But on Wolves of War and getting it going, because we talked about colours quite a lot. We talked about the idea of what we wanted this film to look like and feel like.
Yeah, we did. I remember your mood board, which I remember being rather colourful. And I actually came back to you and I said, weirdly enough, I kind of think it might be better to go the other way and kind of drain the colour out a little bit, because I personally, I'm not a big fan of glamorizing war, you know, glamorizing violence. And it's easy to do that with crane shots and, you know, and music and score. And all of a sudden, war is like this kind of romantic notion. And it's kind of tricky as and when you choose to do that with war. And when I read the script, I didn't see much of that in it. This was a low down and dirty, you know, this was like, get in there with them, be with them while they dodge bullets, be with them while they're getting mucky and they're rolling on the floor. There wasn't like the big, you know, no spoilers, there wasn't like the big kind of grand ending like you used to get back in the day when the US and Hollywood kept like having these bombastic ending to war films as if war just ended at the end of a movie.
Yes, yeah.
So when you sent me all those colors and all those references, like I was excited by the references compositionally. And just to nip back a bit, once I'd read the script, I saw within the script a really nice kind of, it felt like a documentary kind of film, as in it didn't keep disappearing into bombast and things. It was very much like this happens now, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and that's the journey. So let's be with them, let's stay with them, and let's stay on the shoulder, and let's get in there with them. And there's going to be these moments of pause and reflection where we grounded the camera and we used the slider, and we had these moments where we observed rather than witnessed by using handheld. And those moments did pop in a little bit more than I actually anticipated. I thought it was going to be all on the shoulder and let's get busy. But actually having even a 1 to 3 meter slider was actually really great because it calmed it down. It told the audience that it's time to watch now rather than feel it and witness it. So they were great. And then we also discussed desaturating the colors a little to make it a little bit more like an easy reference. But it's not a lazy reference at all, is Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is, you know, it's probably top 3, top 4 war movies of all time. And for that to be in there, you know, for a Spielberg movie to be talked about like as a great war movie is kind of weird, but it is a great movie.
It's stunning, yeah.
And the camera work was very immediate. He told his DP that he wanted it to feel like an army cameraman. He wanted it to feel like a squaddy with a camera, you know, so don't be afraid to lose composition and don't be afraid to create that energy. But also they use the bleach bypass process, which takes, you know, the colors out of negative film. And we could do that with our grade. And I remember doing some tests with you and you were up for that. You saw the test and you were like, okay, I get it. So I was excited to just get in there and get started because it's once you get in and you've done the first day, your first day is like a taster, isn't it? It sets the tone a little bit, and working with the actors, working with the locations, production design, all the crew. Yes.
And we were in a church first day. It's kind of the scene when Matt Willis, our sort of leader of the gang, explains to them what the story is. And Matt had literally just flown in almost like hours before and pretty impressively managed to you know, deliver what he did on that first day. And there was a lot of exposition. And I remember being in that church going, okay, we've got a movie here. Because I think we gave ourselves the opportunity with that first day that we weren't out in the rain in the fields going, whoa, we don't know how it looks because we can't put many lights up. We actually managed, you know, and you lit it beautifully in that church. So therefore it set a tone, it set a precedent, even though not everyone could get in there because it was quite a small space. It meant we got to play with the actors. I got to do that. I got to, you know, they got to find their characters. You got to play with the light. You got to work with your team on that first day. And everyone suddenly went, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And I like that. And it's really important what you choose to shoot first. I know often we can't choose, but if you get a chance, choose something where you get to set the tone of the film, in my opinion. And I thought we did that on that first day. You know, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, and I'd actually forgotten about that because I'd forgotten about the schedule because it's, you know, I've slept since then, and I'm not 22 years old anymore.
Exactly.
I can barely remember why I came in my garage. but I know exactly what you mean, and it's great for the actors. Like you said, like we had a chance. It was a church, for God's sake. Luckily, the ideas that I had beforehand of how to light it and how to create a kind of mood and aesthetic in there worked really nicely. Backlighting, smoky interior, you know, like long lens wides from the back of the church rather than up close and personal wides. Like get it far back, choose a long lens, create a tight rectangle for all the actors in, and they literally filled the frame. So when that's up on the big screen, that's going to look great because all 4 of them are in that frame rather than being up close on a wide angle and it's loads of church walls and bits and bobs. It's like long lens from the back, get everyone in there, backlight it, bit of smoke, loads of atmosphere. And then the actors see that. And once they've seen that, they're like, oh, all right.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. We're not just some guy running around the forest with a camera. Yeah. Oh, this looks nice. And they see the monitor. They see the other actors in their close-up or in their wide, whatever, in the monitor. And they go, oh, okay, I'm going to up my game. Not that they were bringing it down, but oh, good, I'm in a good movie here, hopefully. It does make a difference. And actually engaging your crew as well, in that first day, because I'm engaging the actors, making sure makeup, costume are all happy with all that kind of stuff. You're working with your crew, to make sure they know what you're like, what you want. And if they're pushing themselves a little bit to get all the smoke, to get all the lights in that you want on that first day, people know what is expected moving forward.
Yeah, I remember instantly getting a totally brilliant vibe from the art team, Jamie and Errol.
Yeah.
I just totally loved their energy, like this old married couple, you know what I mean, that have been together forever, and we're just like, but like the speed that they got things done and also the attention that they were making to like the aesthetic overall, I thought was a real positive note on that first day, because when you've got production design and art department, like totally not just like getting a job done, but like really being like interested, looking at the monitor and thinking things through. And you could see that their experience really came out as well. You could tell that they've done a lot of the set building and the kind of like, for me, the craft of doing things outside of the frame that makes the inside of the frame even better. And I love production design that does that. It's not all about what's inside the frame. It's just the bits around it, like using Corex to block the light so we can cut holes in it and create shaft to light or these kind of things, and just having their little workshop. I remember walking into their workshop and just seeing all the farm machinery everywhere and saws and clangs and bongs and dangs. And I was like, oh, this is great. It's like, it's a proper little tool time Tim kind of workshop.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. What do you want to happen when you set up any kind of film as a cinematographer? What's your process? So
I think the process very probably changes with every film because of, the saying is visual language, right? The visual language, the visual language, the visual language. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows what the visual language absolutely means, but for me, it is what you put inside the frame from start to finish, frame one to the last frame. And it's the aesthetic of that. And it's, how am I going to achieve that? And is it right for this project? Like if it's a genre film, if it's a horror film, if it's a war film, if it's a sci-fi film, then the aesthetic has to fit not only what the director wants and what the production budget will allow, but also for the genre for it to be accepted by the audience, for the audience to go along with it, to get on the ride with you and go along with it, like totally. So I think the process kind of shifts with each one, because if you're doing comedy or a kind of like a family drama, it's about authenticity and naturalism. And it's about making it feel like it's so real it could be in the room next door to you right now at home. It's like a kitchen scene, it's a bedroom scene and all that. And then make it beautiful. And then you do your little touches to like flash a little bit of light in the right place, just so it kind of shines on the screen. With Wolves of War, I felt like it was, again, like authenticity needed to be there. And I thought like the closer we could get to the characters in some moments was important, get a nice 35, 50 mil lens on and get in there. Or even like a little bit wider. But I think, those kind of like singles, when things start to go a bit hectic, get in there and be with them. Keep it on the shoulder, react. But the aesthetic wasn't one that we could affect with lighting for probably 90% of the film.
It's outside. Yeah.
It was all outside. The schedule was this. It was never governed by time of day because you couldn't. It was never we didn't do scenes at 8 a.m. because it was a early sunrise. We did them because that's when the actors were here, and that was when the schedule told us to do it and things. So like being under forest canopy is a little bit of a saving grace, because if you try and backlight mostly, then you have continuity, and if you have to front light, then try and get a bit of negative fill so it's not bright, dark, bright, just it's not just full on in the face. I think what I would say to indie filmmakers, especially people that are interested in this cinematographic department, is look at light. Look at the light when you're outside. Look at the light in your house and remember the moments that make you feel something. If the light is shining through your kitchen window at 8 o'clock at night through the tree and that dappled gold light hits the wall and it just makes you stare at it, remember that and then recreate that when you can. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to pee and you're staring at that little blue patch of light where the moon's creeping in from somewhere and it catches your eye as you walk into the toilet and you're like, that's cool. Remember that, and you take these things with you. So whatever you attach to emotionally through lighting, remember it and take that with you, because it's brilliant when you do that. And then the buzz of setting up a shot, everyone's running around doing their job, hair, makeup, props, this, whatever, production, rah. And then you're doing your thing and you put a bit of hole in a Corex and you're shining a light through and you put a blue gel on it and you work with the gaffer and you set the monitor and you look at it and you get someone to stand in for the actor and you go over there and you go, right, so look at that. And then like 15 minutes later, everyone jumps on the monitor and they go, oh, whoa. Like that's a great moment because you've brought that emotion into the frame. And I think it's very much about lighting, because we only see because there is light. And I think light can control emotion. And if you're lucky enough to be able to control the light, if you've got the time and the space and the money and the need to make that frame like that, then that's wonderful for a cinematographer, because sometimes you literally have to be right. Okay, great. Big soft source just outside the window. Bash that through. Great. Okay, let's have a little thing here. Okay, ready. Because you've got 9 pages to do or something like that.
I love that. I think that's such a beautiful thing to say. And it made my mind think of all those images I've seen. And same for me as a director. We take from things that we've seen in our life, images, frames, how you feel a performance should be, all of that sort of encompasses into when you start looking at the script and breaking it down, or when you start working with the DP and then the art department, and then when you get to set, you've got all these images in your mind of how you want it to look. And I love that. But how do you work with directors then? Obviously, me and you have a relationship years and years back, so we've worked together on lots of bits and pieces, so we have that relationship. We know how each other works and we can talk to each other very well on set. How do you generally approach directors who you don't know about what you want and what your vision would be when you're pitching as well as on set?
I think it's a very mixed bag. It's you do have to be open to changing your own desires in accordance with the strength of the director's visions. More often than not, you start the process as a facilitator for the director, totally as a facilitator. And then once you've done those meetings, once you've read the script, you get the script, you read the script, you go, yeah, cool, I can see this. I can see colors, I'm seeing shapes, I'm seeing movements, I'm seeing camera moves, I'm seeing moments where this is going to jar, this is going to be exciting, this is going to be cool, this is going to be calm and all that. And then you start to kind of like, the colors start to arrive and the lighting styles start to arrive. And then you get all that out with the director. And then you sit there in horror as you realize the director wants something completely different. And his face just kind of, or her face just kind of like starts looking around going, oh no, I've got to sit here for another 20 minutes. But luckily it's not often like that. Once you've got that shared aesthetic, then that's when you get into the nitty gritty, which is the kit and the crew and the what things cost and what's the set like and what's the location like. And because you get there and you look at the location and you're like, oh, well, there goes our Steadicam shot, or there goes our intimate lighting because we're on the 8th floor and we can't light through the window. So it constantly readjusts, it constantly shifts all the time. But once you're on set, that's when it totally changes. And the longer I'm in this game, the better I think I'm getting at it, because you yourself and the director, you are the two people, probably more than others, that people look at each day on set to see how things are going, to read the relative success of the shoot so far, to read the relative success of the aesthetic and the production so far. And I've realized that. And sometimes you have to be a real friend to the director. And sometimes you literally are the technician. You are the chef of the restaurant, not the owner of the restaurant, not the manager of the restaurant. You're the chef. Get the food made, mate. Quick. And so it adjusts each time. But I do enjoy personally being with a director that is open to suggestion, open to collaboration, and open to ideas when things might not be running as smoothly as we all thought it might be. And as I said, there's a number of reasons for that, and they're usually logistical. It's usually because the location's not quite right, or the costume's something, or the light is really doing our heads in because English weather's atrocious.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're on your back foot because you've got all these pages to shoot, but the weather has just been killing us. And so you sometimes come up with something else. Like, actually, I've got a direct example of that. And luckily the director was totally collaborative, and he totally let me just change the whole plan, because we missed an entire scene the night before on a feature I shot earlier this year. Lovely film to make. It was a great crew and a great experience and a nice script. But we'd had some issues, and this one scene totally got missed the night before, and the next day was a really heavy day. And I had lighting outside the house, which was shining into the upstairs windows to create these beautiful kind of pockets of light on the ceiling in this stately home that was like dilapidated and a crime scene. So I very deliberately had the lights outside shining up to create these lights because we wanted to look like work lights, because there was scaffolding around the place. And so this scene that was supposed to be outside, I said to the director, look, we've got those lights outside. The ground floor area right now looks beautiful. It just looks amazing. All this light that we've used upstairs is actually spilling into the ground floor area. And if we do this nice little kind of slow tracking shot towards the two policemen as they're discussing a past crime, we could actually do this in one shot.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, what? I was like, just trust me, let me go and set it up. So he was like, okay, you got like 15 minutes until we have to go and do something else. So I grabbed someone. I was like, come on, quick, let's get the slider set up. And we did this long 3-meter slider shot. And we literally picked up the entire scene that was supposed to be outside yesterday. It was with 3 or 4 different shots. And we did it in a oneer. Like on the next day. And we fitted it in. And the director literally said, mate, totally trust you. Just go and do it, because I've got these fires to put out. So I ran off and, not second united it, but I kind of like just set it up. Then he came down with the actors, and we got it in 2 takes, and that whole scene probably took about 15-20 minutes, like, to do a whole scene. And it was an important moment as well, because one of the characters was given a lot of backstory about why she was a cop and all that kind of stuff. So it was an important thing. So like, that's great when you have that trust with a director. Trust is wonderful.
And thinking outside the box as well there, what you did was like, of course, and the director was brave as well, because he could have gone, in the edit, I might want to make this quicker. But when you're up against it on set, you need amazing collaborators around you, because sometimes it is difficult. No, it's not sometimes. It is difficult. And you need brilliant people around you to really help you and not put you down or say, oh, this isn't working, what do we do? It's like, okay, this isn't working, here's what we do. Here's this for an idea. Would this work? That's what you need. It's so important to be like that on a film set and help everyone else, because everyone else is struggling, because it's really hard. I remember a day on Wolves, like you were talking there about the weather being an issue, and instantly we all thought about the rain and the wind and all those elements. But actually, I do remember a big battle scene at the end of Wolves, a big fight scene, which we did over 4 days, I think, or 3.5, which was such a luxury. We still need more time, but anyway, I remember it was so sunny. It was just literally absolutely boiling hot, which made it weirdly harder, because people are now knackered and sweltering in this heat. But you have to try and light that, because the sun's literally above the top of their heads. Yeah. Diffuse and keep moving the diffuse as we went round. I remember that was really hard. So it's still that balance of going, okay, how do we make this work? Well, we've got no choice. We have to just shoot with what we've got. Smoke, get as much. But then the wind was coming up, and you know what I mean? So it's so many things. And then it doesn't match with the wide or the, you know what I mean? It's you've got to try and, then you're saying, oh, okay, we can add some in VFX, and it's, always adds up, and it never really looks as good.
I mean, I don't think you're ever going to meet a cinematographer that won't pull a face like a bulldog licking piss off a nettle when someone says we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, of course.
It's just horrible. You want to get it in camera. You want to get it right. You want to be the guy that gives the editor the ability to literally drop it in and he's done, and then it's the next one. But just to go back to what you're saying then about listening to people and offering options, I have to say that it is the sign of a good director, an experienced director, but also an open director who actually hears the options given, the solutions, the possible solutions, the other options. Because I've directed bits and bops, but like not a feature film, and the balls of wool inside your head that all come loose all at the same time. There's a lot, and they all get tangled, and there's so many things to think about. So when somebody comes in and goes, "I've got it," you have to be able to hear that. You know what I mean? You have to be able to actually hear it and think about it whilst you've got all these other balls of wool tangling themselves up. So that's a real skill. That's a real emotionally intelligent and intelligent full stop skill set.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Is to kind of skim the static away from the message.
Yeah, and also you've got the whole vision in your head as a director. You have got your film, the film, everyone's film in your head of the beginning, middle, and end of each character's arc and what this scene means to type to the next scene and how the transitions works. Or you should have, or at least thought about it. So when someone does come up with an idea, you should be able to step out from your plan and go, okay, how does that fit within this journey? And you've got to do that in milliseconds as well. It's literally like bam, bam, bam. Yeah. Okay, does this... It's all encompassing, because if you get it wrong, if you go, oh yeah, let's go with that, and then you go, oh my God, I've just made them all reset that up, but it doesn't work because they're going through that door and the lights are on, or that person, there's so many things that change, or the costume now. So you've really got to be on top of your game, and that's planning and prep.
Yeah.
When you're coming onto a set for a DP and for a director, is the prep has to be so much. You have to know that script inside out. You know exactly what your characters are doing at all times. So when you change it, because it will get changed, and when your expectations drop from this is the shots we want and we're going to come through the window and it's going to pan round as a beautiful one, becomes, nah, it's just a wide, that's all you've got. Oh, and you've got a couple of close-ups, go, because you've got 4 minutes. You have to think outside the box, and you have to know your story so well. And the same for the cinematographer, I feel. What's your lasting memories from shooting Wolves of War now? When was it a year later? Maybe it's a year. I don't know.
It's not far off, isn't it? Yeah. It's, oh no, it is a year, isn't it? Because it was July, August.
There you go.
So I suppose like memories are of a happy shoot. I thought everyone got on really well. Yeah. Not too much tension after the first few days. I think that I learnt a lot about what to look out for before I say, yes, I can do that. Because there were a lot of moments where I was compromising in a way where you don't want to. As in you have to, but you try and do a compromise that is like 90% of what you wanted to do. You don't want to just go, okay, whatever, because I care. I care about how this looks, and as much as sometimes you're just going to go, do you know what? Fuck this! Throw everything out the pram and run away. You just can't. You can't, because it is your job. It's your responsibility. It's what you signed up for. But sometimes especially when you're doing high schedule, crazy schedule, lower budget productions, you have to come up with a solution that is totally right there in front of you, and it literally is like, okay, well, how about we turn left? Because sometimes just turning left changes everything, you know. And it's like that. And I do remember a lot of moments like that, especially towards the end when we ended up shooting on 2 cameras without 2 camera crews, you know. And we had 2 cameras because one was for main unit, and then one was for gimbal, and that was the idea. And
yes, it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and it was about the gimbal shots will be shot like this, and and they were a separate entity. So that's why they could be like that. But then when you started to try and mix the 2 cameras together, I was a bit dubious, because for one, we didn't have a dedicated camera operator or focus puller for B cam. It was either A or B. It was never going to be both at the same time. But all of a sudden it was like, well, we have to, because
we had no choice.
Yeah, we got no choice.
We had half a day to get a big fight scene or a big battle scene in a garden or wherever it was in this big field. And Matt Welfare literally jumped on the other camera and went, okay, cool, I'll do it. But that means you lose a team member from the main team, and then it pulls away, and it's very difficult to light and compose two different shots when the main camera team or me is in the way. It's very difficult to do that. It's really hard for you to keep on top of that. Well, listen, Stuart, honestly, it was a joy to make this movie with you. I know we'll make more. And thank you for your work on it. I think everyone should praise Stu for how good he's made this movie look, especially under really difficult circumstances. But and thank you for coming on the podcast and chatting with us.
I'm very, very happy to have had my first Filmmakers podcast with you.
Woohoo! Final tip then for cinematographers starting out. What would you recommend? I know you said about looking at the light. I like that. Anything else to finish us off?
I think there's quite a few tips, to be honest. And the first one is just shoot as much as you can. Mm-hmm. Be there for people. Say yes to things. Say yes when someone says, "Oh, I've got no money, but I'm going to blag a camera from here and some plastic lenses, and we can light it with fire." Just do it. Because then you've done the film where you light it with fire with plastic lenses and, then you've done that and you've learned something. So just keep shooting. An important one can be, if you've got kit houses that aren't too far away from you, go and say hello. Go and knock on the door, phone them up, go get in and say, "Look, I'm just starting out. There's going to be times when I'm going to come to you with like 150 quid. Any chance I can borrow an old C300 and a lens?" Because it might be a little bit overambitious to think you're going to start shooting on big kit and big lenses straight away. And a lot of the time it's not that important. It is important to learn, and it's important to use the light and get to know camera sensors. I mean, that's what I mean. God, you could do a whole podcast on this, mate, like things to look out for. Find your directors and make them feel good. That's what a cinematographer should do. Protect your director. Get the story that the director wants. Wave your brushes over it. Paint the picture with the directors. If you feel like you can offer something more, chuck it in the mix. Don't be offended if the director doesn't want it. Just crack on. There'll be another chance. And just keep shooting and work with the crew. Listen to the crew. Don't be afraid if other people have opinions and say, "Oh, it looks nice from over here," or "Can we turn that light off?" Mm-hmm. Because it's, that's the best one, right? Just start with one light. If you're lighting artificially, start with one light. And if it's good, shoot it. Don't think you have to put 15 lights up and stuff like that,
I love that. So true. People think they should I must look like, I'm lighting the place. You're right. If one light is up and it's fine, shoot it.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. If it looks good with one light, just crack on. Because like they say, every frame is a painting. Mm-hmm. And some of the masters of painting, Caravaggio, Rembrandt, they had a single light source. That's all they had. They didn't have 15 lights and flags and kits and shit. They had some sunlight coming through a ceiling, or they had some sunlight bouncing off a board, and that's it. Protect the director is a saying that I heard a few years ago, and I really get what that means now. Protect your director. Make sure your director gets the film that he, she, or they want. Enjoy the ride as well. Enjoy the process. Remember it. Remember all the different things that you do, because there's going to be a time a bit further down the line when all of a sudden you're doing something and this little thing will pop up and you go, "Oh yeah, I've done that," and then that can speed up the process, because if you're fast, the people will like you.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, but honestly, we could do a whole podcast on what to look out for, man. It's like, it's never ending.
But no director or producer likes a slow DP. It just doesn't work on indie film. It just doesn't. I know we've got to make it look beautiful, but it doesn't.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Because it doesn't matter how beautiful it looks. If you've not got a finished film, if it doesn't make sense, you haven't got a film. You've got shots, you've got scenes. That doesn't make a finished film. So it's so important to get on with it, which you were brilliant at.
And on that point of trying to be fast, trying to kind of find something that you're happy with quickly, backlight. Continuity is easy if you backlight, because you can shoot at any time of day or night across different days, weeks, months. But if you always backlight your actors, you'll be able to splice it together at any point in any time. So, and also backlight is more flattering because you can just put a little bounce board in front of them to bounce a little bit of light into the face and stuff. But if you've got sunlight in someone's face, then it's harder. But if the sun's behind, or even if just the key light is behind, then you've got a little wrap around the body, lifting them from the background. You've got soft faces. You can add a little bounce from the front. So if in a rush, backlight and bounce.
Beautiful. Stuart White, thank you so much. You're a superstar. Honestly, cheers, buddy.
It's been a pleasure.
See you soon.
Bye.
Ooh, what's that? It's music. In the middle of the podcast? It can only mean one thing. It's sponsorship time. We are delighted to be sponsored by Q Scripts. It's a script analysis service Annual membership package costs only £60 a year. It includes monthly webinar and Q&A sessions with industry professionals, including commissioned writers, producers and directors. You get a discount on all services offered by Q Scripts and access to a 36-page quarterly industry magazine brimming with useful content, industry insights and interviews with writers, plus free entry into the monthly prize draw with the chance to win a free detailed script report. Check out qscripts.com. Link for ease to make it easier for you so don't have to type it in is in the show notes. Just scroll down, click on it. There it is. qscripts.com.
So that was the lovely Stuart Nicholas White. Should we play the trailer now so you know a little bit more about the film? Okay, this is the end of World War II, and a tough British officer has to lead 3 other soldiers, Allied commandos, into enemy territory in Germany for one last mission to extract an American who's held hostage by the Nazis.
We're jumping 4 miles. We meet at the church. Quick! You need to jump now. Look after him. What do you mean? The man we're after is an American scientist. He's lived in Germany for the past 25 years. Listen, our mission is to bring him home, where he'll get put to work when in this war and every war to come.
Professor, you're coming with us.
So what is it?
The world's first atomic weapon.
A bomb. This mission is about more than protecting innocent people. It's about protecting everyone.
You can't let this happen. There are women and children there.
We got work to do.
I hope you enjoyed that. Link to that is in the show notes if you want to watch it fully, but also if you want to watch the movie, then please do. So, like I say, this movie stars some really amazing people, and I was very lucky enough that they would come on to this podcast and chat to you about how they made it. We have the rather fantastic Anastasia Martin, who you might know from Heirs of the Night, or very recently in From the Cold, TV series there. She plays Hannah in Rules of War. Also, we have Jackson Bews, you probably know from a fantastic episode of Black Mirror. He was also in Maleficent, Catch-22, Cat and the Band. So hopefully you'll have seen him around. If not, do check him out. He's brilliant in Rules of War. He plays Professor Bob Connor. And then we have Matt Willis. Now, you'll probably know Matt Willis from Busted, of course, but he is an actor as well, and he's a fantastic actor. He's absolutely wonderful in Rules of War. People always sort of raise an eyebrow. They go, oh, come on, you've got a pop star in your movie. No. When people can deliver, they can really deliver. He's also been in other movies in the past, including Allies. So he knows his shit. Matt Willis, top guy. He joined us, as well as Rupert Graves. You will know Rupert Graves from Sherlock, V for Vendetta, Death at a Funeral, Swimming with Men, Horrible Histories, Emma, Fast Girls. List goes on. Yeah. Riviera recently on telly as well. Just great. What a lovely guy as well he is. So we all chatted, shot the breeze, had some fun about our experience on Rules of War and acting in general. Hope you enjoy. Hey! There we go. Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, cool. I think it's actually a joy that we can do this. What I like is that when you're on a set or whatever and you'll become friends, and then afterwards you see each other, and it's you'd never lose that bond, right? It just doesn't go away forever, I think.
That's true. In my long career, it's weird how you can do a film and then you meet up, and you make friends, and you meet up again and you haven't seen each other for 15 years, say, and you just pick up the same sort of I mean, it's immensely, you get adrenalized, you work creatively, incredibly closely for incredibly long hours. You're often on location, so you're kind of staying in the same hotel. So it's a kind of hyper world filming, isn't it, a little bit? It's kind of reality plus. And it kind of sinks the relationships, although you don't always keep them, you don't always keep them up, but they don't ever either. But even if you don't keep them up, they don't ever go away because they've kind of, I think the experience has been so intense.
And it is intense. How was it for you, Matt? You know, you're leading a film, I suppose, for the first time, right? Is that correct in me saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was the experience for you of that and that whole bonding experience and what that felt like?
To be honest, it got much better after day 2, because day 1, I'm not going to lie, was probably my worst experience as an actor ever. Because I kind of, you know, it's kind of like the actor's worst nightmare, kind of, because I got the role quite late and I was away and I kind of got sent the script as I was coming to set. Yeah. And I turned up on set. They were like, right, okay, you're going to film this today. Oh, it's a 4 fucking page monologue explaining the mission. I was like, you know, so I'm desperately trying to fucking learn lines like before I walk on set, like in makeup. Yeah. And it was just like, you know, I was just so on the back foot and I was trying to relax and trying to ease into it. But, you know, you just feel pressure. Like I felt everything was coming into my head. Like, oh my God, I don't belong here. Shouldn't be, all that shit that comes in your head. Right. You know, and then, and once that was done and what was so great was everyone around me knowing that and going, dude, you're doing great. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. We'll stop. We'll go. You know, like it was absolutely fine because everyone knew what position we were in and kind of what that was. And feeling that from everybody and actually genuinely believing it from them was really fucking nice because it suddenly made me just relax and go, oh, right, cool. We're in this together. It's all fine. Yeah. You know, and it was a really great moment. And then so day 2, I was like, right, great, brilliant. Let's go. You know, let's do it. You know, and like, you know, for us, like a lot of us stayed in this caravan park. Yeah. And I've got to say, it was my favorite experience ever filming anything ever was that caravan.
Oh, really?
I loved it. I loved everything about it because I used to go on caravan holidays when I was a kid and I just drove into there and I was like, oh my God, this is my childhood, you know, and it was like you were on holiday with your mates, but you're doing this awesome job at the same time. And it was just like, and then we were having barbecues after filming and stuff like that.
Watching the football. Yeah.
It was just like, we
were all jumping around when England scored.
It was amazing. It was such a great time. You know, it was a really, and that I think feeds into that whole bonding thing is that we really did bond because we were with each other after filming as well and kind of, you know, and kind of enjoying these amazing moments together. You know, it was just, it was a really great experience. And I think that really helped all being together in that place.
You were a rock star on that day because I remember you were doing a charity hike or something, but you were literally on top of mountains when you got the call to say, hey, can you come save us? And I knew you, and you were like, yeah, sure, fucking love to. Yeah. And I knew that you were driving. You said, I've got to finish what I'm doing because that's, you know, part of what I was supposed to do. And I knew you were driving that night and you went, I'll drive through the night. Certainly that's what I heard from Lucinda that you said to Lucinda. I'll drive through the night. No worries. I'll be there the next day. And there you were on set having to learn all this monologue and you nailed it. And it's, you know, you can see it in the trailer and you see it in the film. And it's really fascinating to look back now. And there's a picture I've got of the 4 of you, Ed, Jackson and Sam. And that first day in that church, and I remember looking at, and I took the photo because you were all really concentrating on your characters and just had this moment of absolute, right, here I am in this church, and Stuart lit it so well, and all the, you know, all the cameras were there, and it was this moment, and you were all just sitting in your characters, and I just thought, fuck yeah, we're going to have something here. And it was really, really nice. But yeah, you did so well. It was like...
And in some ways, it was kind of quite so different to anything you normally do for me, because like you go into prep and you develop this thing and you get backstories and all that kind of stuff. This was just like, right, this is who I am. Yeah. Make a decision right now, this second, this is who he is. And you helped so much with that, Giles. And I was like, right, okay, cool. Right, let's do it. You know, and that was like, boom. And then you got to stay with it. And it was a constant, you know, kind of great learning experience. It was just a really fun set.
It was. Jackson, what about you that first day then? Because obviously you were there and you were part of that and trying to find your place.
I was actually about to say, it was really interesting to say that because obviously in the film, these 4 guys who don't really know each other have just met and they're all really tired and they've been thrown into a, you know, a really intense situation, which is what it felt like as an actor anyway. It's your first day on set. Yeah. You're a bit tired, especially Matt, who's traveled through the night to get there. and you're meeting these characters for the first time, and we actually met for the first time that day. So it felt quite apt, and it felt quite sort of, I was quite nervous, but also my character was quite nervous. So that kind of helped. And it just helped me ease into it, so to speak. But it was beautiful that first day. We were in that amazing little chapel in the corner of that field in the middle of nowhere. And it felt really eerie and it was quite cold. And it was, like you said, Stuart lit it so beautifully as well. And it was such a good way to sort of get into it. And for the rest of the film, we're sort of running around or jumping over a bush or like hiding from like Nazis. And that was quite a good day because it was a really super still scene where we got to just look at each other and act, and the rest of it were just sort of running around like crazy men, really.
How do you find that, Anastasia, when you're coming into a set that's kind of already established, if you like, and you're coming in and going, I'm kind of playing catch up a little bit, but how did you find that process, and how do you find that process, and what do you do to get yourself into those sort of character modes?
It was really nice, actually, because I think you quite quickly, when you come into like a set that's already going, you can assess what's going on and how people are. And on this set, everyone was lovely and amazing and very supportive. So I think it was very comfortable because instantly I felt that, which was lovely. But yeah, in terms of the character, I think it's always like getting into the character feels a bit for me like just flying headfirst into whatever, because you know that like from the first take, it could be in the film. So you're like, I better have just decided some things, or at least, do you know what I mean? Like, at least have some kind of idea of who it is. And then once I've done the first take, I kind of have to sort of run with it. I mean, obviously, depending on what it is, it's not like you're stuck with whatever. But yeah, it just feels like, I think usually I'm like, okay, whatever I've thought about, whatever I've planned, I'm just going to throw it away and just be in whatever the situation is, because that's all you can do anyway. Yeah.
No, that's so true. I think back when I was doing that inside a plan, I'd go, okay, I'm going to come with this. And maybe that was my downfall. And what I felt was so fresh about you guys was that you clearly came with a plan. You clearly came with what you wanted to do. And then you were totally open to tweak it and play and go, okay, let's mold this. And I loved it. And you, Anastasia, worked really well with Rupert as well. And I thought that was really lovely, playing father and daughter. And you instantly just got on. You instantly would, I remember filming a little behind the scenes, which I'll put up very soon, of you guys just dancing and having fun, and I've got quite a bit of that. And how do you find that, Rupert, to, like you said about the bonds, but also coming into a set again, you were late, joining this sort of established train that's really on it's moving, you've got to jump on, you've got to be quick. You've done it on a lot of movies as well. How do you do it? How do you cope?
Well, like Anastasia said, you come in with your ideas. I always try and get a character, and every set has its mood, I guess, and its personality in a way. I mean, they're all similar. You're doing a similar job in a similar way, but the personalities are always different. I still get nervous. I still get anxious, no matter what film or how big the part or whatever. I often have a real troubled sleep the night before. Still, after I've been doing films for
5 years,
40 years nearly, 40. Jesus,
wow.
But I still get it. I still haven't got over that. I still get excitement and adrenaline and nervousness all together. But you kind of start with the work, don't you? You start with the work. You think, what's the scene we're going to do? It is to make. You have to work out how to move together, how to act together. Some actors give you stuff back. Some other actors have got their performance in their head and they bring that and they kind of give a little pause before they speak so they can get back into their own, ignore what you're doing. And you've got to kind of, that's not ideal, but that happens. And you've got to adapt to that. And, each actor does it a little bit differently. And you try and be flexible and I think lightness is a really important quality because it helps you think on your feet. I think one of the problems performance-wise, and it goes for, I think, with football as well, is that you can, you have to be in the moment. And the more fleet of foot you are or mind you are, or spirit you are, the more able you are to deal with whatever happens on screen or on the football pitch or whatever in the moment. And I think lightness, coming in with a sort of light attitude and not being too, thinking too much about what you have to do, not trying to do what you've done in your bedroom. And you think, well, that looks good. And when I've kind of taped to myself, I'm going to recreate that. Being flexible and light, I think, are the things that I try and be, especially on the first day when you when you come in and you're trying to learn what the film is and what the set's like.
I actually noticed when working with you, Rupert, what I learned, I always try and take away from different people I work with. And there was a day where we were chatting together, and before the scene, you were just sort of like, almost you were quite childlike, and you were sort of like playing around in the grass, and you were just being a bit silly. And that really sort of helped like break up the tension a little bit. And I kind of get what you're saying when you say you kind of be really light, 'cause I noticed that from you, and that's what I tried to carry on with myself.
I find it really helpful, even when you're doing heavy stuff. If you come and go, oh, it's just you can actually kill it. It's to do with life. You want to try and create life and reaction and spontaneity and things. Yeah.
Anastasia, I noticed as well, and with you and your performance, is you could be the same as Rupert there. You'd be bouncing around, you'd be just playing in the moment. And as soon as the camera turned on you and we were like turning, you'd literally go into this dark soul of a character, and, you know, there'd almost be tears coming out of your eyes type thing. And it was amazing to watch, you know, and as I've told you anyway on set, but your audition was just outstanding. And it was one of those that you went, oh, wow, okay, how's she going to be on set? Is it going to be the same? And you did. What do you know what it is that works for you, like as an actor on set? Is it being comfortable? Is it knowing that people are around? But how do you switch it like that? Because some people can't. It's very difficult. They have to stay in character and be like, no, I'm going to be very serious. And how do you approach that?
I think, what one of my friends has once said to me before, who's also an actor, is that she thinks that part of the reason that I am an actor is because all my like feelings are like just all of the bad feelings, they're very close to the surface. So I keep them, you know, they're contained, but I think just as a person, I find it quite easy. I think I don't know, like a sort of empathetic kind of thing. I think I find it quite easy. Like when someone's also telling me about something they're finding difficult, I can quickly be like, oh yeah, that's really a difficult thing. Like, I don't know, that's just, my mum's always said I'm like a grandma in that way, that like I can be like having fun, and then the minute it gets serious, I'm like, oh no, this is serious. So I think that's just a personality thing, but also probably like the work that I do beforehand, thinking about like, oh, actually, you know, this is a really terrible situation that this poor woman is in, you know, running from Nazis, and her dad's, I can't say that. I can't spoil the thing, but
we'll beep it out. So it'll be out. It's out by now.
Anyway,
yeah.
She's going through difficult things, yes. And I think working on that before and really thinking about actually the reality of that is also allows me, I think, to quite quickly be like, oh no, this is really quite bad for her. That's
interesting, isn't it? How and this happens in real life as well, isn't it? When there's something traumatic happening, we might laugh about it, or the other way around, you know. And I think that should be that freedom with actors. Yeah, I think it really makes a difference. What is it you want from like directors, Matt? What is it that works for you as an actor, but also as a performer and everything else that you do? What is it you like directors to give you?
Direction. But first and foremost, like I think a lot of people, a lot of actors I work with kind of have something in their head, and they you know, take things in and in one ear and out the other. I like to know everything. I'm like, I want to know every detail, you know, as much as possible. And some of it I'll take on board. Some of it will be a bit too much. I can do a little bit too much work on some things, and I try in one line to play someone's entire fucking history, you know, with sometimes, but like, so a little bit of, I like a director who knows exactly what they need and exactly what they want. And they can give you that information, you know, because if it's too
wishy-washy, floaty,
yeah. I'm like, no, what is that? What is this? What is my action here? What am I doing here? You know, like I like to know that, because otherwise I try to play everything.
Yes.
And, you know, I need to have one specific boom, because I can play that. I can't play all of that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's two different things, isn't there? I like someone who's calm, but then I like someone who kicks ass when they need to as well, you know, which you did very well. You know, I think that's really imperative, I think, you know, because we're all there to get it done, and to get it done to the best we possibly can, you know?
Yeah. I remember, Rupert, you've said to me in the past that you, and again, feel like you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but you changed as an actor? Like from when you were first starting out, or maybe in the last, 10, 15 years, you played it a certain way on set, and then you started to go, oh, actually, this might not be working for me. I'm going to try this way. Do you still feel that way? Do you want to explain that a bit more?
For me, I think it's all about confidence, really, and to be relaxed. Yes, just relaxed. I mean, the thing is, because I didn't train, I kind of came up through Butlins and circuses and kind of comedy and just, hopes and dreams and reading people's biographies. And do you know what I mean? I didn't really train at all. And I was in Western-super-Mare, which didn't have a theatre scene. So I felt really provincial and uneducated and slightly imposter syndrome-y. And shy and nervous. And I suppose when I got more established and more confident. Yeah, so I can relate to what Matt was saying. I kind of used to try and want to get everything, know everything, do everything. Actually, you can play with it. Like if you're playing something really evil and heavy, sometimes it's lovely to play it really light and sweet and just let the actions, you can or not. Sometimes that doesn't work, but you should. I mean, it's just lovely to start with a very broad palette. You don't have to paint yourself into the corner, but know and trust that something evolves.
Yeah,
that's the interesting thing about filming, because you don't normally get a chance to rehearse it. And you don't really get to play the character apart from when you're on screen. It's very hard to practice on your own. It's not like music where you can practice scales because it's so much to do with what's going. You're reacting to your other to the other actors and your surroundings. It's hard to know exactly what they're going to be. So I think, so I did. I think my journey as actor has been finding flexibility, joy, fun, and the word I always come back to is lightness, a light approach, a very light approach. But I think you can oddly and almost paradoxically kind of go deeper when you do that.
Yeah, and it can show as well.
I'm always interested when you look at people in life, when real life situations go on, just how, like even when you watch an accident, people aren't always going, oh my God. Some people get really super calm in those things. And some people kind of go nervously laughing. But you don't tend to see that. And it's nice to bring those kind of human qualities to your work if you can.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, Rupert. Very true. What's our sort of memories of shooting the film? Is there anything that stands out? Shooting Wolves of War, Jackson, anything that you go, oh, I loved that moment, or that was hard, or anything funny?
I always love the costume, like the pre-production of the film. I always really enjoy. So I always love
the costumes were amazing, darling. You've done it again.
I feel fabulous. I really enjoy that process of and these costumes were amazing. To be fair, they were proper. Old World War II real outfits, so that was kind of fun.
Robin Manton did amazing at designing our costumes, so good. Yeah,
and my character goes through a bit of a journey, and so he starts off a little bit unsure of himself, and the costume kind of reflects that. And then I won't say what happens, but as the film develops, he changes outfit and he really starts to feel himself. And he learns how to use a gun, and I really enjoyed that. I'd never worked with pyrotechnics before, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and getting to sort of play around and jump over things and fall over and trip, and I really enjoyed that. The only day that I didn't enjoy was I get quite bad hay fever, and there was one particular day, because where we were in what was the airbase called again?
Bentwaters Air Base in Ipswich.
Yeah. We're surrounded, it was actually really beautiful nature, because no humans really go out that often. So you get to see all these deers running around, but we were surrounded by all these fields. And there was one particular day where we were outside all day, and my hay fever was just dreadful, and there was smoke in my face, and I had an umbrella above me, and it felt very diva-ish, but I had to protect myself.
No, it was a boiling hot day. I remember it was boiling hot, and I was like, Jackson's really pulling the tears out today. But no, and then you went, no, I've got really bad hay fever. And we were like, yeah, no, we understood. And it was, I do remember those scenes as well, because they're the emotional ones, like in the middle of the battle where we all just brought it down. I remember Matt just being fabulous that day, because you were trying to lead the men and try and get them through in your moment of, right, I need to save the day. And yeah, I remember that pain you were going through, Jackson going, oh shit, all right, okay, how can we help? Can we shoot him first? Can we get and move him out of shot so he's not in the wide so he can... I do, yeah, and then that's the kind of thing you got to think about as a filmmaker as well. It's sort of, how do we look after the actors in a way, you know?
Especially when you're sort of, you're right, because we have to be seen on screen to look a certain way. And if you're like, your eyes are like red and you're streaming, it's like, how do you protect yourself from this? Yeah. But I appreciate the help anyways.
Yeah, no, of course. Anastasia, I suppose the same question for you. What from Wolves of War, what do you remember that was fun? And
I mean, you mentioned it already. I mean, I had the best time dancing around with Rupert. We were dancing, joking, being really mean to each other. You know, it was great. No, only in a joking way. No, I think for me, I mean, obviously, and everyone else was so lovely. I had a great time. Jackson, Matt, you, Giles, everyone. I think for me, it's always the people that makes the experience great. Of course, I love the acting. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But yeah, I think that's what drew me to the industry in the first place. And I still think that that's what is always the thing that I take away. Although I did also love, some badass moments from my character. I always love doing that stuff that you don't get to do in real life. You know what I mean? Knock people out, that kind of thing. So
no, that was really cool. And it's something I really wanted to push within the script, is to make your character a bit more badass. So it wasn't a damsel in distress. And that's what I liked about you to play that role, is because you've got that toughness as well as the vulnerability, and you've got to believe someone can, kick a Nazi's ass, and that's important, and you could. And that is true. Those scenes were really fun to film, weren't they? When we got you much more involved with the lads, as it were, in a war film. And it's like, no, actually, there's a girl here as well. And yeah, she can hold a gun and she can hold her own. And that was fun. How's the action for you, Matt, doing that? And I suppose the same question anyway, you can answer within that. But you got to do all the action stuff and the fighting. And I loved shooting when you were, all the stuff where you were in the middle of those battle scenes and you were just giving it 100%, crawling on your knees. You know what I mean? It was just fabulous for me because, and the same with all of you, that when people are putting that effort in and care into it, it makes my life as a director so much easier because someone's giving a shit and giving everything they can. How is it from your side, Matt, that and doing the action and doing all that? And I know you've done a war film before, but here it's maybe a different beast. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a different beast. It was a lot more. And it's if I'm honest, it's every little boy's dream, and possibly many girls' dreams is to just shoot a movie like that, because you're running around with a gun. Trying desperately not to go with your mouth when you shoot it.
There was a bit of that.
Which is something which I Matt, stop going. Stop. Yeah.
You did.
Stop making bang noises with your mouth, Matt.
You did. I did. This one, it was bang, bang. I had to cut them out in the edit because he obviously was using some of those shots.
I was really into it. But I feel like I've been, since I was a kid, I was doing that stuff in my room. I was so into that kind of play, and kind of, I'm really I run away from every confrontation in life. Like, I'm really not that kind of thing. So to get to play that is so fun, and to kind of really kind of go for it and go, this is what I'd be if I was a badass, right? It's really fun. And the stunt people were amazing, and kind of working on those stunts, working on the fights was, if I'm honest, better than the experience of shooting them, because it was like, oh wow, this is like choreography, and it's really fun, and it's kind of and you're working with people who know exactly what they're doing. So you're not in any kind of danger, and you just can really go for it. But I loved it, man. I loved every moment of those action things. Like there's one moment towards the end of the movie which is just brilliant when I'm reaching for that flare. It's just like that whole thing was just like, yes, this is what I've always wanted to do. So it was really fun, man. I loved it all.
Yeah, that's great. That's really cool.
What was your favourite part, Giles?
I love working with actors. So for me, it's the best to work with people like you lot. It honestly is. I obviously I love working with a cinematographer and getting the look and the colour, but if the acting doesn't work, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's the story is key, and getting the performances and getting that, for me, that's where I'm alive. And just, if I'm whispering to you guys or just this note or that or pulling that, it's amazing to see actors do it as well. It's really weird. It's a really odd thing to give a note and then an actor do it. I don't know why it should be, because that's your job, but it always has been that, and I love it. yeah, it's such a joy. You know, if anyone gets a chance to direct, they really should do it. I think it makes you a better actor, for one. It certainly did for me when I was mixing the two at the time. You think, oh, okay, that's what they wanted, that's what they meant. And directors should act as well, or actors should act. You should do both, because then you understand what both of you go through and why you want a certain thing, or etc.
Do you think, Giles, that your approach with actors, you couldn't get that kind of approach if you weren't an actor?
I think it's easier coming from the acting background to get that. Definitely, because I know what's going on in your heads, and I know that you're all individuals and different. So you can't give the same direction to one person as you can to someone else. Everyone's different, and you have to learn that really quickly. So, for instance, that chapel/church day was like, okay, how do these people work? How can I give Ed different direction to Jackson or to you, you know, and that's fascinating, I think. And it's also you guys trusting the director as well. I think that's what's really important. If you don't trust the director, you'll start questioning it. And then certainly I did when I was acting. If I wasn't sure about the director, I'd start acting more. I start going, oh, well, I'm going to push it more because he's not giving me, or he or she is not giving me a note. And I found that was, whereas if you trust the director to tell you if you're pushing too hard, then you can relax and do your job. I find that really interesting.
I directed a play once, and just getting back to your point, you're talking about acting and directing, is that I just remember thinking, and getting to that point too, is how much less you actually have to do than you think you have to do sometimes as an actor. How you just, if you think it and do it, it'll come out. If you're pushing it, it's just, you just don't need to. You just don't need to. And an audience can sniff the effort, and it's kind of off-putting. So it's really interesting. But it's difficult to trust that if you haven't directed a thing. I think that's one of the things that I learned when I directed.
Yeah, which is why I think it's really important that, you know, you give that a go at some point, even if it's a short, or directing even a mate's self-tape or something. You know, you're still going, oh, push, you know, you suddenly go, oh, I can see what they're doing. They're pushing too hard there. Or maybe I'm doing that. Everything's learning, and you could just get better by doing. And the more you can be on set, the more you can film yourself with your iPhone in front of you as an actor, is just practicing. Watch yourself back. It's hard, but it's important, I think. You get better and better.
Do you find in the edit process, Giles, that the sort of film changes quite a lot, or, you know, you may have had the take in your head which you really liked, and then you get to the edit and it's a completely different version? Does that change throughout?
100%, yeah. Which is often, people will say, a script supervisor will say, which take do you like the best? I'm like, well, it's hard to say right now, but let's go with 2, because that was the one where I got this performance, even though I knew that in take 3 the second half was better. So I know in the edit I'm going to take this bit and this bit. But it's true, once you get to the edit, you take the bit that works best for the film. This is the thing with actors in it, is that's why it's good for you to make a movie or see, because then you'll go in the edit and go, I see now why you didn't use that take or this bit, because it's all about the film and the story and what drives that. It doesn't matter how good you look in a certain shot. It doesn't matter if it's the best performance. If it doesn't work continuity wise, if it doesn't work for story, light was totally different, it won't match, you can't use it. So that's why it's great for actors to be, and as you said, Anastasia, from the off, first take, be the best you can be. Don't think, oh, don't worry, I'll be good by the third take. No, because I have to use the first take because the third one was out of focus. That's just what happens. This is it. Or the rain came in, or the sun suddenly lit up, and you can't use it because it doesn't match it. All those type of things change. So yeah, that's why it's great to be on your game straight away. Finally, tiny bit of tips for an actor. I know it's a difficult one, this, but any other actors out there that you've learned, just maybe it's a couple of lines or whatever that you think would help them as actors, what you've learned, if there's anything. Matt, we'll start with you.
Oh God. I'm still learning, you know, like, I just love listening to what Rupert said, you know, because I'm early on about acting, because I have a tendency to really overthink everything, and I'm doing a play right now, and like the character I walked in with is nowhere near what I'm doing on stage every night now, because I've just been allowed that freedom to flow with it, you know. And when he said that, really resonated with me, because that's something which I can be really bad at, is coming in with, no, this is what I do, this is what I do, you know, when actually, like, it's nothing like that. It's about being free. It's about being open. It's about taking on the other people and what they say and reacting and responding to that, rather than just going in with your agenda.
Really nice. Jackson?
Kind of following on from Matt says, really, never, you're constantly learning, and you should never be set in your ways, and constantly be open to listening to other people and their views and how they decide to do things. And I think that, be malleable, is that the right word to use?
Yeah.
Be able to be, and also just to listen, and because it's very easy to get stuck in your own head, really, but put your energy on the other actor or the scene you're in, and let that dictate what you end up deciding to do, really.
Nice. Anastasia?
I think my thing that I think about a lot at the moment is sort of struggling with my ambition. And I think that what is helpful for me is to keep coming back to the actual acting that I love, because I actually love the actual acting. It's just, the not getting things that you want to get, or, not being seen for things, or just all that kind of stuff that's more, I think, in the realm of like ambition and like what it looks like on paper or something like that is not helpful. I think it's only ever made me feel bad. So I just try and always focus back on the actual acting that I love and think about it kind of as my work and the thing that I like, and not as like this thing that defines me as a person or something.
Beautiful, beautifully well said. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for spending some time chatting about the film. And yeah, I loved working with you all. I really do. I miss it. I'd love to just jump back like for an hour and just go, right, let's all be back on set again in that moment and just sit and just watch it and just take it all in even more would be, incredible. But alas, all we've got.
We're all dead.
We're all dead, so...
Yeah. Most of us, anyway.
Until the end.
I thought you meant generally. Yeah, we're all dead. Yeah, not everyone dies. So there is that.
There is hope. There is hope.
Yeah. Matt's character's like, I died, so I didn't read the end. Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. So nice.
Good to see you, everyone.
Thanks. Lovely to see you all.
Let's catch up soon.
Yeah, thanks, Giles.
Love you all.
Thanks, guys.
Nice one. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Have a lovely evening.
Bye. Bye.
Hi there. This is Toby, the editor of the Filmmakers Podcast. I'm just jumping in here to tell you that this is a two-parter. Giles and his Wolves of War team recorded so much interesting stuff that I don't want you guys to miss. So do come back for part 2, which we will be releasing this Friday, where Giles chats with Wolves of War editor Neil Lenthal and composer Christopher Cook. Until then, have an amazing week. Bye!